films we're going to see today, the stories that are going to be told today, are going to touch something inside us. Mangihamba kumazwe ngamazwe ngibakhumbuze ukuthi amathambo ezithandwa zethu, ezingane zethu, izihlobo zethu alele kumazwe ngamazwe, alele emathuneni angamakiwe. So maskulum about these bones of memory. You hear the name now, these words being said. When I wrote that song, I knew it was going to touch many, many spaces and lives and minds and be created in a new way again and again and again.
The heroes we are remembering during this period fought because they yearned for independence. We are indebted to the families of our fallen heroes. We thank the families for always joining us when we have government events. We are gathered today for an emotional screening event, which I believe evokes mixed feelings in all of us here today. The piece of work being screened today is a result of the ability of our entity to advance the priorities of this government. We have a vision of positioning KZN as a destination for filmmaking.
One of the things the Truth Commission was able to do was to allow many, many other families and people across the country to receive a kind of vicarious acknowledgement. One of the things we're learning as society progresses is that intergenerational trauma gets passed on through families. Gets passed on through people, and it affects the future. If we don't deal with the past, it continues to affect all of us going forward. You can't have justice if you don't know what happened. And you can't know what happened if people don't come forward and tell their stories. I strongly believe that a nation without accountability is a nation sitting in impunity.
So ngiyathemba ukuthi at some point these films will be shown in deep rural South Africa, and the people that will be there at those screenings will be majority young people, and in those places the language of the region will be spoken on stage so that people get everything, young and old.
So the bones of memory will shock you, will drive you to tears, will make you laugh sometimes, because of Julie's special characteristics. But it's a tribute to these unsung heroes and heroines that we don't know much about. We don't know about Nelson Mandela, Steve Biko and Oliver Tambo, but we don't know much about these foot soldiers that paid the ultimate price with their lives.
But sometimes I ask myself, why do the police have to kill our comrades after torturing them? Why do they have to do that? And they torture us very bad. Honestly, we don't have the same strength as the men have physically, but in our heart, mind and soul, we've got that strength. Just to carry a AK-47 rifle, when it was given to me, I just dropped it. I didn't know it's so heavy. So, and when we get tortured, it's men who torture us. We are never ever tortured by women. Honestly, one woman being tortured by 5 men. Eyes are overpowering. When they were torturing me like that, I was just saying, "Oh Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name." I needed suddenly spiritual help.
If I think about how my life is, culminated to where I am now today, it's through the sacrifices that my mother, that my parents and their comrades, I kind of took, and I like the point that Enver kind of brought into the light, saying that for the women cadres who are in the front lines, their story was never brought up as loud as, I guess, their male counterparts, right? As if they were not in the same trenches, under the same circumstances. So for me, this docu-series was an opportunity to shout out those stories that it's not broadcast as much, right? kind of grateful for such an opportunity. And it is a a tough situation where you have to go and tell that story, because it brings back those emotions.
Creating a better life for my kid. More like 3 kids, because 2 are my brother's girls and my girl. And making sure that I pave way so none of the things that I went through triples up upon their life. So I guess this is where whatever things that I have to carry emotionally, it stops with me. For them, they need a better life, upgraded, what their grand died for, serving. So I think at some point, I can't really tell them that your granny died serving and then there's nothing to show. So I need to work extra hard to paint the picture and let them see, let them live in that moment.
I think what I have to offer in this context is a bigger picture of what it means to do the very difficult work of memory and truth-telling and transparency around the cost of genocide.
I would like to thank you, Greta, for coming, and because it is to say to these kids that we there siyanfukamela ngokwesintu, and we're here to do that. Ukunfukamela, to say we're still here and we see you, we hear you. So we thank you, for sharing and us to know that there's reality in the stories. They're not just stories, but there's truth in it. So that 30 years from now, my grandchild who's 13 know that there was Phila Ndwande, there was Ntombi Kubheka, and these are not fiction, but real people. We thank you for allowing and for opening yourself as young people to tell the story of this country. We know that it's going to continue because you have opened up and allow other filmmakers and other young people to open up for their stories to be told and to be heard and to be seen. We thank you for that.
Sapu masangena kwa manyamaze.